space. I need some time to feel free and enjoy.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Obviously, I know by now you guys are probably either sick and tired or really enjoying these type of videos that I've been doing. It's kind of sort of filling content, obviously, while the whole of the UK is in lockdown, and obviously while content creators such as myself are not able to do sort of, not necessarily the videos that we want to do, but obviously filming the places that we want to film more so than anything. This video right now, as you see on the screen from right now, is ranking all Premier League stadiums in terms of obviously how much I like them, like the design, shape and such, whatever, and obviously coincidentally the club, and obviously ranking them from best to worst, or in my own opinion, obviously. And speaking of which, leave yours down in the comments down below, join the conversation, and yeah, let's jump straight into the video. Starting with, I believe this is Bournemouth's Vitality Stadium. I'm not going to put it in, it's just a good stadium. I'm not going to put it in love or brilliant, because quite frankly I don't love it that much. It's not a bad stadium by any stretch, obviously due to where I put it in as it ranks. The stadium itself, I think, very much really decent. You know, the style, size, and for the club like Bournemouth, very captivating as to the style of club Bournemouth are. So that, you know, all that being said, that's the I don't know, that's the reason why, I guess. So yeah, I was thinking of another word, but yeah, that's the reason why. Gonna go with Aston Villa. Again, decent ground, never been. I've always wanted to, because obviously I've heard it's hosted a hell of a lot of you know, FA Cup games and whatnot, and obviously ones that Villa have played in, but also ones that they haven't, and obviously with the semi-finals and stuff like that and whatnot, all tied into the reason. The very traditional feel, much like the Vitality kind of fits Bournemouth. Villa Park, obviously, you know, that it encapsulates Villa to an absolute T. The Victorian but really homely kind of family feel, in terms of obviously Aston Villa. It's real and really an amazing ground. The, you know, the size, very much big part of that. The way it's kind of laid out, the fans are almost, I probably will say this a lot in terms of the atmosphere, but the fans are kind of almost on top of you in many grounds. Obviously the Aston Villa, or Villa Park, being another one of those said grounds. But yeah, I mean, you will see, as you know, as the video goes on, there will be, you know, the less said the better to some grounds. But speaking of which, this isn't one of them. This is the Olympic Stadium, or, you know, whatever they're calling it, London Stadium, the Olympic Stadium, for West Ham. I've never been, really want to, because it's a phenomenal design for a ground. Obviously very modern, very much, you know, in the style of the Emirates, in this style of the new kind of White Hart Lane, or whatever the stadium is called now. I know obviously the kind of Spurs are still calling it White Hart Lane and that, which is cool, you know. And like, as I say, the Olympic Stadium, or London Stadium, is very much in that style, as where it's kind of oval shaped, very modern, and probably where West Ham are thinking of taking their side, because obviously as you look at their squad, the squad that itself is really good, and obviously they're improving their, you know, the type of player that they're attracting. So that's the explanation, I guess, as to why I really love these free grounds as of, you know, to start with. Leicester's King Power Stadium is another one that I've always had a soft spot for. Everyone knows that I've always loved Leicester, in terms of not just because they won the league, like, you know, not too long ago. It was just before that. When growing up, it was always the blue of Leicester. It's always, I love that blue, and, you know, it's kind of spiraled on from there, the snowball effect, if you will. And the way their team set up, and obviously everything in between, you know, the manager, the fans, and everything that kind of obviously makes a football club. That's just I guess that's the, I don't know, for a better word, explanation. Again, gonna put in, obviously, well, we all know the next one. I'm gonna go. There's only one place that's going. And relax, Tottenham fans. You lot are not gonna be put in awful or anything like that, because if it was White Hart Lane, perhaps maybe it would be put in awful. But your new ground looks absolutely fire, so I can't do it an injustice. No matter how much I may want to, I may not. I don't know. But Arsenal, self-explanatory. Obviously, they're my home team, my only team, and my one and only. I would die for them. There's not many things in life I would die for, and that Arsenal being one of them, my family being the other. That's it. And it's just, if you haven't been, or you get the chance to go and whatever, I would say definitely take it. It's an incredible experience, even if you're not a sort of a football fan. Just to go and experience a game at the Emirates, I would strongly suggest go to a night game. Atmosphere tends to be a little bit better then, and obviously if you can, and if we are in it, go to a European game, because I think everyone would agree European nights are the best nights in football. They are just something else. They are something different to the usual Premier League game, FA Cup game, or just cup game in general. Liverpool's ground, Anfield, is a decent ground, decent size. The capacity, obviously they do want to expand it, obviously, because obviously Liverpool are just doing absolute bits in the Premier League, and I think that probably is reflective upon them wanting to. It obviously makes it kind of links hand in hand to as to why they want to make it bigger, I guess. And you've got the Cop End, and that's it's just absolutely outstanding. I've never been. Always, again, you would find a lot of the explanation is, I've never been to many of these grounds. I've been to like Spurs, not the new ground, but I've been to Spurs, been to Stamford Bridge, and also is it there, Palace as well. And also, actually, on a side note, been to Charlton, the Valley, and that was that was a really, really cool day out, because that was the Sidemen and the YouTube All Stars game, which was really, really cool. But moving on, looking at the grounds that we have left, obviously Stamford Bridge, I'm going to put that into the good ground, I think, because the style of it, and obviously Chelsea being a not necessarily classy club, but they're a decent club nonetheless. I don't know, it's just there's just something about it. The atmosphere always fire throughout the in the stadium or throughout the stadium, and I think it's credit to Chelsea, to be quite honest. It's just a credit to them. The same could be said with Man United, but they're not getting into the good category. They're going to be chucked into the decent category. As much as sort of, it's a massive stadium, 75,000 strong. You've got the massive stands, left, right, and centre. The theatre of dreams. It is like, if you were, I don't know, like a foreign player, and Man United get in touch with you, and or get in touch with your agent and whatnot and whatever, say, look, we want to sign you. You're not really going to turn it down, no matter who else comes in for you, unless it's Man City or someone bigger than Manchester United. Not saying Man City are, they'll probably be out on par as of sort of recording this video. As you can see, the grounds we have left. I'm not even sure who's that. Oh, that's the Saints, Southampton. I'm going to chuck it into a decent ground. Again, that's another one that I've been to. Again, I went to the YouTube All Stars match, the Sidemen match, which was decent. It was a real good day out. Less said the better, in terms of obviously kind of being a bit, I don't know, just traditional, I guess. That's for a better word. Crystal Palace is up next. Not great. I don't have to put any in the not great or awful. I hope none land in awful, but Palace it has that traditional feel, but I just don't ever think the atmosphere stays inside the stadium. It's kind of, it's this, the stands are a little bit, not one's big, too big or whatever. It's just a little bit kind of lopsided, and the design could be a little bit better. That might be me speaking on kind of the new, more modern grounds as we would see it. Speaking of modern grounds, obviously Man City, I would go so far to say, yes, Man City is a brilliant ground. The atmosphere might not always be reflective of that, but obviously the design of it and everything, and the way it keeps in the atmosphere when City are playing well, and obviously when the City fans and the players are up for it, there's no better team to watch in the league. You could argue obviously Liverpool, but I mean, without being obvious, that's, I guess, they're the only team basically. Brighton is going to be the next one. I've gone with a little bit sort of obviously an all over the place kind of. That's going to go into a decent or good, as they say. The ground, I think the ground modernised is kind of modern, but also keeps that Victorian feel to it. The traditional kind of the four stands, and don't know where I was going for. It keeps that type of obviously feel to it. So yeah, that's why I've gone with. I'm just trying to. There we go. Right. But yeah, Bournemouth, the Brighton, and to retrospect, Bournemouth as well. But they're both obviously down at South Coast. I've got nothing bad to say about them, so don't worry about it. Bournemouth is up. Brighton is up next, which obviously I've just put in. Burnley, again, it's a decent ground. I'm going to actually stick it in decent. It's not just a good ground, it's a decent ground, very traditional. A lot of it, and a lot of the grounds are traditional in terms of obviously the teams that play there. Watford is next. And for me, it's just a good ground. I don't think there's, in terms of it being outstanding or anywhere near brilliant, so no, I wouldn't obviously go that far. I think this is Wolves. So Molineux, again, that's actually another ground that I've always liked, because none more so than we actually usually always, in history would say, we usually do well up there. So basing it upon obviously that, and it being a real beautiful ground, real beauty of a ground, I've got nothing really else to say about it. It's traditional but modern as well. That you've got a massive stand at one end, that obviously kind of that end makes you feel like the fans are on top of you. So yeah, that that's kind of, I think this is Bramall Lane, this next one. Bramall Lane, to be quite honest, it shouldn't really end up there, but not great means it's not something that it's not a ground that I wouldn't visit, but it's not a ground that I would visit. So it's kind of like you look at it and think, okay, it fits the team that plays there. So that's all I can say, I guess, about that. The next one is, as you can see, we've got 4 left, and I believe that is, I don't even know who that is. Whose is that? Whose is that at the end? Who plays in that colour? No. Oh, Norwich, of course it is. Jesus. What am I talking about? Well, before that anyway, I'm going to go with Spurs. I'm going to put it in a decent ground, because obviously, I'm not going to say it's a brilliant ground, though others may say otherwise. And Norwich are going to end in awful, because I just actually don't really like the shape of the ground. It's very squared looking, and it's, or rectangle looking even. It's not all that nice. Everton are going to get up to do one over on their local rivals and be put into a higher bracket, I guess, and along with Newcastle. St James's Park has obviously always been one that's close to my heart. I've always loved Newcastle from a young age. It's probably not a known fact, but in one of the videos I did mention that the video, I'm not sure which video it was, can't remember which, it was one that I filmed for this kind of series-ish. The first shirt that I ever had was Alan Shearer on a Newcastle shirt, black and white stripes. So yeah, make of that what you will. He was the go-to striker for England at the time, so obviously that played a massive part. That's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Obviously a little bit longer, but yeah, I'm out in a bit. Peace.